I will not bore you by discussing the cost of living in Switzerland, because that everyone knows by now that it is expensive to live in Switzerland. But the process of getting a rental property in Switzerland, some things that you must know is that the demand and supply of rental property in Switzerland is highly competitive. This is because 61% of the Swiss population are tenants. And since they also increased the mortgage rates, this has really led to an increase in the prices of property. And these landlords will have to make someone pay for this. And who will pay for it but the tenant? So the costs of the rental properties have also gone up. Now, if you're planning to live in cities that are big, let's talk about cities like Geneva, Zurich. These are even going to be worse because there are many people that are looking to live in these cities, and therefore the costs will go up because the demand are greatly increased in these areas. But what is the process when you want to get a rental property in Switzerland? Just like other countries where you're from, they'll have to prove that you have enough funds to be able to pay for this property. So you'll find that the first thing, they'll either ask for your work contract or your pay slips. And some people will ask for both. So then you supply this, and on top of it, you have to show also that you're not in debt. In Switzerland, there's an office called Office de Poursuite, and this is the job of these people. They give you the documents, they check those people, they know those people who are in debt, those people have not paid their bills. And therefore, in Switzerland, this is something that you have to be very careful about, not to be in debt. Pay your bills as soon as you should, because otherwise you're in the records, and such records can really penalize you when you want to get, for example, a rental property. So then this should not be more than 3 months old. Okay, but the positive thing is this is a document that you can apply for online, get it on your email, and then you can be able to give this to the agents. A third thing is you have to have money in the account, which is like a rental deposit, and usually the minimum is 3-month deposit. Other people go as far as 6 months, but most are usually 3 months. So then this should be put in a bank account. Usually it's your bank account, but it's a special account that you're not able to access, and the landlord also is not able to access it unless there's reason for them to access it. Usually those reasons I'll explain towards the end of this video. So once you have these 3 documents, so your work contract or pay slip, a proof that you're not in debt, and also the third document showing that you've paid the 3-month deposit with your bank, then the agents will check and compare with the other files that they've received, and the ones that they feel that the one that they feel that is really able to pay for the property gets the property. So when you're looking for a rental property, the thing that you should do is always have these documents ready. And since you've already heard that the demand is really high, if you're living in the big cities, be ready to make several applications and get many rejections. And also you have to really be patient on yourself, because otherwise you can be really disappointed. Something else that you have to know when getting a rental property in Switzerland. So now let's say you've made the application, you've gotten the property. You have to be very clear. The first thing is it has to be clearly stated if the rental amount you're going to pay is gross or net. Because when they say it's net, it means that you'll still be paying for other utilities, for example, the heating charge. Okay, and if it's a place where they have someone doing the gardening, you'll still be paying for things like those on top. So you have to be sure, the water, the electricity, you have to be sure that this is an amount that is gross or net. That has to be clearly stated. If it's net, they have to let you know what will you be paying on top. What are the charges and the amounts that you'll be paying on top of this net amount that you're paying. Otherwise, you'll be in for a surprise. The second thing is you have to read your contract very well to know the resiliation period. If the resiliation is quarterly and you have to give a 3-month notice, make sure you do this. Because if you don't respect this, you might end up leaving the house but continue paying the rent. This is something that is very strictly followed in Switzerland. So make sure that you read your contract and be very aware of this clause in your contract. A third thing that many people fail to look at because they're excited that they finally found the apartment or the house that they wanted is inspection. So you'll find that before you get into the house, they'll do an inspection. And usually when you're getting in, it's you who is supposed to do the thorough inspection. Because when you'll be leaving that property, I tell you, they will be very thorough with you. They'll be looking at everything, okay? So when you get there, especially, let me not say especially if it's not new, because even new property nowadays can have issues. Make sure that you check everything and they note down everything, every defect that is there, so that you don't end up being the one that pays for these defects at the long run while you found them there. That's a pity, okay? Then you have to know that when you will be living, usually when you get in, the house or the property should be clean. Because when you will be living, it also has to be spotless clean. If you fail to clean the property, some people are nice, they'll tell you that it's not well cleaned and therefore you come back and clean. But others will just get a professional cleaner. And these professional cleaners can even charge 2,500. So you will have to pay that bill. That will be on you. And if you fail to pay it, definitely you will get into problems. Debt or failure of paying bills is not something that is treated lightly in Switzerland. So these are some of the things that you have to know when you want to get a rental property in Switzerland. Something that I will state is, for example, when you're working in Geneva, you don't have to live in Geneva because getting a property in Geneva can be difficult and can be costly. But you can live, for example, in Nyon or Rolle that are relatively cheaper, or Morges. And the public transport, for example, if you're going by train from Rolle to Geneva, it's around 20-something minutes, 30 minutes maximum. That is workable, that is doable, you know? So you don't have to just strictly be that I just want to live in Geneva. Then I think it's advisable to at least, your rent should be at least less than or equal to 30% of your income, of your net income. Otherwise, you'll really be struggling to pay for that property. So these are things you can gauge. You can see, am I able, with my salary, am I able to live in Zurich? Am I able to live in Geneva? Am I able to live in Bern? And then just be able to make the calculation. Some people are lucky that their offices or their employers pay for their rent, and therefore in this case you don't need to worry. And most of the time, if it's your employer catering for this, they'll also cater for helping you get the property. Something that you must know as well is, if you are able to get a property by word of mouth, like your friend tells you, I'm moving out, are you interested in my apartment? This is the best way, because usually they'll talk to the agents and then you'll have an upper hand in getting the property. Otherwise, when it's already something that is posted on the internet, sometimes so many people have already applied for these apartments. Many people want to see it. There are cases where you go to look at the apartment, the viewing of the apartment, and you are about 20, 30 people. There already you start losing hope, because when there are so many files like that, the chances of you getting that property are very slim. So when you can get it by word of mouth, the better. Someone you're working within your office is leaving, and therefore his apartment is going to be free. That is the best way to go about it. Otherwise, it's not a simple task, but it's workable, and you can be able to get a property if you just make sure that every time you have your file ready and you're ready to apply for the apartment of your choice. Thank you for watching my video, and kindly do not forget to like, share and subscribe, and write in the comment section if you have any experiences, if you have anything you want to add on what I've presented, because I'm not the guru of this department. But just feel free to comment in the comment section, like, share and subscribe, and see you in my next video. Bye.